All right, so you've bought one of those absolutely stunning orchids, right? You're admiring the flowers, and then you look down, and you see this kind of flimsy, clear plastic pot. It feels so cheap for such an elegant plant. But what if I told you that cheap-looking pot is actually a piece of horticultural genius? Well, it is.
Yeah, you've probably wondered about this, and I'm going to tell you straight up, it has nothing to do with saving a few cents on packaging. No, that see-through container is literally about saving the plant's life, and it all boils down to one simple thing that most of us get wrong about roots. You know, we're all taught the same thing in school, right? Roots go in the dirt where it's dark. And look, for pretty much every other plant, that's spot on. But orchids, oh, they're the rebels of the plant world. See, the orchids you buy in the store are usually epiphytes. Big word, simple meaning. In the wild, they don't grow in soil. They literally grow on trees, with their roots just hanging out in the open air and light. And trust me, those roots are a whole different ballgame.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. To really crack the case of the clear pot, we've got to look at what makes these air roots so special. They're basically loaded with superpowers designed for a life clinging to the side of a tree.
The star of the show here is this incredible tissue called the velamen radicum. Now, don't worry about the fancy name. Just think of it like a high-tech, living sponge that's wrapped around the actual root. Imagine you're an orchid on a tree. When it rains, you have just seconds to grab all that water and all those nutrients running down the bark. Well, this velamen, it's designed to do exactly that, and to do it fast. And I mean fast. We're talking about the velamen soaking up water in as little as 15 seconds. It's wild. Now, when it's dry, it looks kind of silvery white, which is cool because it protects the root from the sun. But here's the magic trick, and this is the key to everything. When it gets wet, it turns transparent. You can see right through it to the real root inside. Now tuck that little fact away, because it's going to be super important in a bit.
All right, and this is the big one. This is the aha moment. The number one reason those pots are clear, the reason the roots themselves are often green, is something that just blows my mind. The roots can photosynthesize. Yes, you heard that right. The roots can turn sunlight into energy just like the leaves do. How cool is that?
But wait, it gets even more interesting. The energy they make? That's kind of just a bonus. The real reason this is so important is that it helps them fight off the #1 killer of potted orchids, suffocation. Yep, the roots can literally suffocate. Think about it. You've got these thick, chunky roots packed into a pot with a bunch of bark. It's really, really hard for oxygen from the air to get all the way to the center of those roots.
And this is where the clear pot comes in to save the day. See, if you put them in a dark pot, no light, no photosynthesis, and the roots are at a super high risk of suffocating. But in a clear pot, the light gets through, it hits the roots, and boom, photosynthesis kicks in. And what's the one thing we all learned plants release during photosynthesis? Oxygen. So the roots are literally creating their own personal oxygen bubble right where they need it most. That clear pot isn't just a container, it's a life support system.
Okay, so the science is absolutely fascinating, but what does this mean for you, the person who just wants to keep their orchid alive? Well, that clear pot does more than just keep the roots breathing, it's also your secret weapon for watering. Think of it as a built-in fuel gauge for your plant.
Seriously, you can throw out your watering schedule. From now on, you're just going to look at the roots. Remember how that spongy velamen turns transparent when it's wet? Well, if you see bright green roots, that's what's happening. They're full of water, so do not water. But if the roots look silvery or grayish, that means the sponge is dry. It's thirsty. That's when you water. It's that simple. Green means stop, silver means go. Oh, and if they're brown and mushy, that's bad news, a sign of root rot, and you'll need to repot it soon. The pot tells you everything you need to know.
And that's exactly why clear plastic pots are pretty much the gold standard, especially if you're new to orchids. They're the only option that gives you that see-through window and lets the roots do their photosynthesis thing. Terracotta? Sure, it dries out fast, which can be good, but you're flying blind. You can't see the roots. And those pretty glazed ceramic pots, they're mostly just for looks, but we'll talk about how to use them in a second.
Now, it's not all sunshine and roses. You've got light, you've got water, you've got fertilizer. Well, you've just created the perfect 5-star resort for something you don't want: algae. It's really the one big drawback of a clear pot. But don't worry, there's a super easy fix.
Look, a little bit of a green haze on the inside of the pot, not the end of the world. But if it really starts to take over, that's bad news. At night, that algae actually starts competing with the roots for precious oxygen. It's also stealing the fertilizer you're giving your orchid, and it can even make the whole potting mix go bad faster.
But the fix is so simple, it's brilliant. You just take that clear plastic pot and drop it inside a slightly bigger decorative pot. You know, one of those nice ceramic ones. This is called slip potting. It blocks the light from hitting the sides so the algae dies off, but the top roots are still exposed to light and air. So you get a healthy, photosynthesizing orchid and a pot that looks great in your living room. It's a total win-win.
Okay, and one last thing on this, and it is super important. You're going to see people online telling you to use hydrogen peroxide to kill the algae. I'm begging you, please do not do this. The science is crystal clear. By the time you use a strong enough concentration to kill the algae, you have already caused permanent, irreversible damage to the orchid's roots. You're basically chemically burning off that delicate sponge layer, and the root will never be able to absorb water properly again. Just don't do it. So when you step back and look at the whole picture, it becomes so clear, right? That plastic pot isn't just some random cheap choice. It's a very clever, deliberate piece of engineering designed to copy an orchid's life in the wild. A life spent out in the open, clinging to a tree with its amazing roots soaking up light and air.
There's a great quote from the research that really nails it. It says the clear container isn't just a holder for the plant. It's an active participant in the plant's metabolic and diagnostic life. I mean, wow, it's not just a pot. It's part of the plant's breathing system, its communication system. It's the little piece of the rainforest you bring home to your windowsill. So the next time you see one of those orchids, you won't see a cheap plastic pot anymore, will you? You'll see this brilliant piece of bioengineering. And it kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other amazing, elegant designs from nature are hiding in plain sight, just waiting for us to figure them out?